In the year 1998, a game called Starcraft released, made by Blizzard Entertainment. Before that, they made Warcraft 1, 2, Diablo, and a sequel to some Viking game no one's ever heard about. Starcraft, was very influential for taking all of the good formulas of the RTS, doing them really well, and having a perfect balance among the three types of creatures you want to play as. Its story was good, it had a system that supported a good multiplayer complex. I mean, the only thing you could hold against Starcraft is being hard to play as a casual, like me. But in its sequel, Starcraft 2, that has been solved with the co-op mode. But enough about that, let me introduce you to LEGO Battles. LEGO Battles released like 10 years after StarCraft, and it was very inspired by it. As in, it has a unit cap that's restricted until you build farms or farm lookalikes, which are like StarCraft's Terran supply depots, Zerg overlords, or Protoss pylons. How you make these units is based on how many studs you have, which can be harvested via trees or green crystals mined by workers, which can be manufactured at a castle or whatever form of castle you have. Workers with studs can make buildings such as a lumber mill, which can be the drop-off point for harvest, with the bonus of more studs, or a defensive tower, which can be upgraded twice. They even have the unique feature of making a wall, or walls. Plus, they can make the two buildings that really matter, the minor and major unit production buildings. You know, the barracks and the specialization production. And that's it. Produce units, kill the enemy, or escort a unit, or collect something nice. Repeat, bada bam, bada boom. Now when I put it all out there, that you're gonna realize that's probably not gonna cut it. You could just play StarCraft or Warcraft or some other thing instead. But a crucial thing that makes LEGO Battles what it is the fact that it is on the DS. So the edge LEGO Battles has over its competition is that it knows it's a de-evolution of StarCraft and Warcraft, but it's on a mobile device. You could play it on the bus. You could play it on the bed. You could even play it on the toilet. You don't have to hook your computer up to play StarCraft on the toilet. You could just... You could play it there. It's great.
Come to range!
As for the LEGO involvement, there is no involvement. When you have the name LEGO on something, it usually promotes creativity and free thinking, or building, but this game doesn't really have any of them. There is building, but it's not really like taking bits of LEGO and putting them together. It's basically just building from the ground up. It's fun, but it doesn't really associate with LEGO at all. It has LEGO minifigures, and you collect LEGO objects, but that's
not enhanced with the property.
There are 6 factions in LEGO Battles. The King, the Wizard, the Pirate, the Admiral, Gemma, and the Space People, or the Aliens. The King is the most standard campaign you will ever find, and it gets a little bit hard at some places, but any old person could probably just figure out that making units and making towers is how you win. The Wizard is just like the King, except it's less hard and more casual. They also team up with the Trolls, but that's really not that important because every faction has a sub-faction. The Pirates is the hardest campaign of them all because the Admiral has better ships than you, and the whole campaign is mostly surrounded around ship combat and, you know, transport ships going from island to island. The Admiral is the most funnest campaign because you have complete sea superiority, and when you click on the General, it makes a nice noise. The Space People have the second worst campaign alongside the Pirates because of their geometry, because of their landscaping. You see, unit pathing in this game isn't very good, so if you wanted to go by, you know, say a mountain or a river or whatever, there would be a 50-50 chance your unit would be like, oh, there's a river in the way, better go around it. Or if the river's too big, he just stands there like a doofus, so you have to micromanage him and get around the river by going along the coast. It requires a level of micromanaging that seems unnecessary, so when you compound this bad unit navigation and bad geometry that, you know, combined with bad, it doesn't really screws up. And it gets tedious. That and Gemma's 3-tier ship doesn't have good hitboxes. The aliens have the best campaign in the game because they have the best 3rd-tier spaceship. If you have 4 of them, they can one-shot mostly every unit in the game. And their collision physics are like very good, so they can seize in and out of each other. And then, you know, quadruple fire at the same target. In these campaigns, you can collect studs, minikits, and red bricks. Red bricks are cheats, studs are things you can collect to buy things in the LEGO store, and minikits, which is the real deal, because if you get all of them within an act, you get a unit, or a hero, and that's good. Each act has its own cutscene, and they're pretty funny in that dry humor LEGO way. To finalize, LEGO Battles is a very simple RTS. Even though its gameplay is kind of out of date and you would be better off playing something else, especially because you can't really get the DS or DS games anymore, I still think it deserves the time of day for its charm. There's something about the campaigns and the mythos that the developers like mythologized out of LEGO's ethos. It's in a way that it's not really like a story, but it's more of like a constant theming myth that could, you know, go on forever. Like, there's always a knight on a horse fighting a dragon, or there's always a mad scientist trying to take over the world, or there's always a robot trying to figure out humanity, or something like that. That's the vibe I get off of LEGO Battles. Lots of games get lost and forgotten because they're not very good, or their story's bad, or it got into a controversy and now everybody hates it, or something like that. LEGO Battles is not one of those games, and it should be remembered. Also, there's a multiplayer mode, so if anyone wants to help me figure out if that works, that'd be sweet.